What if every single time you fell, every time life knocked you down, it wasn't failure at all, but preparation for something far greater? What if every challenge you faced wasn't a barrier, but a carefully laid stepping stone on the path to becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient? And what if I told you this isn't just a hopeful idea or a pretty quote to share online, but a principle rooted in one of the oldest and most enduring philosophies in human history? Let's take a moment to remember the journey of self-improvement isn't a destination you arrive at. It's a constant movement, a steady progression guided by your own North Star, that inner compass pointing you toward your highest potential. Imagine going through your entire life with a mindset that every mistake, every setback, and every painful experience was simply shaping you into someone more capable, more aware, more powerful. At first, that might sound like a familiar motivational line from your Instagram feed. But this isn't one of those fleeting phrases. This is real. This is timeless. This is Stoicism. Stoicism is not about pretending things don't hurt. It's not about forcing yourself to smile through the storm. It's about learning how to walk through that storm with your eyes open, your spine straight, and your soul grounded. It's about transformation, taking pain and making it your strength, taking what breaks others and using it to build the foundation of your unshakable self. Today we're diving deep into this philosophy, not just to admire it, but to make it come alive in your own life. This isn't just an idea to consider, it's a practical, powerful way to live. In this video, you'll learn how Stoicism can be more than just a guide during hard times. It can become your daily code for focus, for clarity, for resilience. Whether you're struggling with personal issues, trying to rise through your career, or simply overwhelmed by the fast-paced chaos of life, Stoicism is here to offer a steady hand. A way not to control the world, but to master your response to it. The Stoics weren't passive observers, they were active participants in life. They faced their problems head-on, and they asked themselves the crucial question: what lies within my control? From that clarity, they found their power. So if you've ever felt like you're drowning in uncertainty, if you've ever wanted to find peace without having to escape the world, if you've ever longed to turn pain into purpose, then welcome, you're in the right place. Join me as we unfold the ancient wisdom of the Stoics and learn how to build a life of intention, integrity, and quiet strength. This isn't about lofty ideals, it's about real-world mastery, built one decision at a time. And if this journey resonates with you, if you're ready to become more than who you've been, hit that subscribe button and let's walk this path together. Every second of this video has been crafted to spark something inside you, and you won't want to miss what's ahead. Now, to begin it all, let's ask the question that unlocks it. Why not? We ended the last section with a powerful question. Why not? A spark that invites us to step into our full potential. Now let's look deeper. What does improvement truly mean? Improvement isn't about being harsh, rigid, or unkind with yourself. It's not about punishing your flaws or being endlessly dissatisfied with who you are. True improvement is a compassionate, persistent commitment to your own evolution. It's about showing up for yourself, not with judgment, but with love and resolve. It means celebrating every small win, even if it's just a small behavior shift, a slightly wiser reaction, or a single mindful choice. And at the same time, it's about remaining hungry, always aiming for the next level of your inner transformation. Yes, you'll face setbacks, and yes, you'll stumble. But in classic Stoic fashion, you'll learn to see those moments not as failures, but as essential lessons, as stepping stones to becoming your best self. So how do we foster this deep commitment to daily growth? It begins with clear, intentional goals that reflect your deepest values. Then every day, you pause to reflect on your actions and choices, asking, did I move closer to who I truly want to be? When challenges arise, you lean in, not away. You treat them as invitations to stretch beyond your limits, to learn, adapt, and rise. And you do so with a mindset that's open, curious, and flexible, because growth never ends. There's always another level to uncover, another skill to sharpen, another virtue to practice. And in this endless pursuit, we find a sense of joy and fulfillment that nothing else can provide. Improvement, then, isn't just a goal. It becomes a way of life, a perspective through which every task, every thought, every relationship is approached with care and intention. So let's walk this path together. Let's keep inspiring one another to reach new heights, not just in what we achieve, but in who we become along the way. Stoics were renowned not just for their resilience, but for their total commitment. They gave everything not to impress or gain recognition, but because they understood that pouring your full self into something is the essence of a virtuous life. They didn't go through the motions. They didn't operate on autopilot. They poured their heart and soul into their work, their duties, and their purpose. Because to them, the value of an action didn't lie in the outcome, but in the depth of their commitment. Giving it all you've got isn't just about doing more. It's about aligning your energy, focus, and time with what truly matters. It's about waking up every day and choosing to build your life with intention. It's about not just dreaming big, but taking bold, deliberate steps toward those dreams, even when the way is unclear. More than that, it's about how you do what you do, with presence, with integrity, with fire in your chest and clarity in your eyes. Whether you're in conversation with someone you love, working on a passion project, or simply reflecting on your day, your full presence is the real power. Obstacles will come. That's guaranteed. But when they do, you'll face them not with fear, but with courage. You'll reach inside and draw strength from a deeper place. And that's what Stoicism prepares you for. Not a life free from pain, but a life that's deeply rooted, intentional, and resilient. So how do you begin giving your all? Start by identifying what truly matters, your values, your goals, your deepest dreams. Then show up for them completely. Not from guilt or pressure, but because it's who you are. Remember, giving your all isn't a one-time push. It's a commitment you make every single day, in how you think, how you act, and how you love. And as you embody this way of living, something incredible happens. You not only move closer to your goals, you live with a kind of fulfillment and meaning that no result alone can bring. So let's commit together to a life of purpose, passion, and presence. A life where we don't just aim high, we give high. Because in the end, it's not just about what we build, it's about who we become while building it. But in a world filled with noise, temptation, and endless distraction, how do we stay on the right path? Let's explore that next. We just explored what it means to give your all, to show up fully and live with intention. But to stay aligned with that path, especially in a world full of noise, we need one essential tool: self-awareness. Every meaningful journey begins with a deep understanding of who you are. Take time to reflect. What are your core values, your long-term goals, the vision you hold for your life? Write these things down and revisit them often. Let them be your compass, your internal guidepost through every decision you make. Once you're clear on your direction, develop the discipline to make choices that align with your values, even when those choices are tough, unpopular, or go against the current. And remember, resilience is essential. When setbacks come, don't let them derail you. Instead, see them as invitations to strengthen your resolve and recommit to your path. We're often taught to keep our eyes on the prize, to define success solely by outcomes. But what if there's more freedom and power in letting go of your attachment to results? What if true peace lies in the process itself? This is where Stoicism offers a life-changing perspective. It reminds us that while we can control our efforts, attitudes, and intentions, the final outcomes often rest in hands beyond our own. When we obsess over results, we hand our happiness to forces we can't control, setting ourselves up for anxiety, disappointment, and exhaustion. But what happens when you shift your focus from outcomes to the process? You begin pouring your energy into doing the work itself with passion and presence. Whether it's a project at work, a personal dream, or a meaningful relationship, you show up fully. You face the challenges, learn from the setbacks, and grow with each step, without being paralyzed by fear of the finish line. Now imagine how liberating it is to pursue something not for the praise or recognition it might bring, but simply because you believe in it. That's Stoic wisdom in action, finding satisfaction in your effort, not just the result. Let's be clear, this doesn't mean you stop caring about success. It means you redefine success by your character, not just your achievements. Did you act with integrity? Did you grow? Did you stay true to your values even when it was hard? That's the real scorecard. So how do you adopt this mindset in your life? Start by getting clear on your values and the kind of person you want to be. Let that shape your goals. Focus on the virtues you want to embody, the actions you want to take, not just the rewards you hope to receive. And when you feel anxious about outcomes, pause. Gently bring yourself back to what's in your control, your mindset, your effort, your courage. Think of your life as a mirror. It reflects not just what you do, but who you are inside. If you're filled with fear, bitterness, or self-doubt, those qualities color your experiences and relationships. But if you nurture courage, kindness, and integrity, those same virtues shape your world, attracting deeper connection and joy. That's why Stoics placed such deep value on developing character, because they understood while we can't control the world, we can always control who we choose to be in it. And when we align who we are with our highest ideals, the world around us responds in kind. So how do you live by the principle, you don't get what you want, you get who you are? Engage in regular self-reflection. Look at your thoughts, your patterns, your reactions, not with judgment, but with honest curiosity. Spot the gaps between who you are and who you want to become, and close them slowly, patiently, with love. Choose to cultivate the traits that matter most to you. Bravery, persistence, compassion, presence. Perfection isn't the goal. Awareness and intention are. And when you fall short, as we all do, let it be a lesson. Rise. Try again. Adjust. Course. Keep going. This is how you become the architect of your life. You might not control every storm, but you do control your sail, your grip on the wheel, and your willingness to move forward. Now think back to your own life's obstacles. Everyone has them. Small irritations, devastating losses. Our first instinct might be fear, anger, or despair. But what if those obstacles were actually gifts? Let's explore that idea next. And we just talked about viewing hardships as disguised gifts, catalysts for growth and self-discovery. So how can we live out this principle every single day? It begins with a powerful truth. Within every obstacle lies the seed of an equal or even greater benefit. It's not the obstacle itself that defines our experience, but rather how we respond to it. When you choose to view challenges as pathways, you shift from being a passive victim of circumstance to becoming an empowered creator of change. So how do we apply "the obstacle is the way" in daily life? Start by reframing your perspective. When you face a challenge, pause and ask, what can I learn from this? Or, how could this situation actually help me grow? Instead of letting obstacles drain your energy, turn them into stepping stones that build your resilience, spark your creativity, and strengthen your perseverance. Understand this. The most meaningful paths often include the steepest climbs. The effort you exert, the walls you hit, and the determination you summon, these are what shape your personal narrative. Every challenge is a chance to practice virtues like patience, courage, and adaptability, forging you into a wiser, stronger version of yourself. But overcoming obstacles isn't just about endurance. It also demands innovation and the courage to step off the beaten path. It's in these moments of trial that you're pushed to expand your thinking, to get creative, and to tap into hidden strengths you didn't even know you had. By embracing this Stoic mindset, you also begin to feel gratitude for the growth that hardship brings. You stop resenting difficulty and start valuing the transformation it offers. You come to appreciate the journey, twists, turns, and all, realizing that the deepest lessons rarely come on sunny days, but often in the middle of a storm. In the grand tapestry of life, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the magnitude of your dreams or the complexity of your problems. You may find yourself thinking, what difference can I really make? But pause and remember, every great achievement is made up of countless small, often invisible steps. The Stoics knew we cannot control large-scale outcomes, but we can always control what we choose to do right now. They taught us to stay grounded in the present, to do what is right and necessary in this moment without being paralyzed by how far we still have to go or how big the mission seems. Do what little you can is not a passive idea. It's a powerful call to action. It's an invitation to engage with life intentionally and meaningfully, no matter how modest your actions may appear, because every small act done with consistency becomes the foundation that supports a larger purpose. So, how can you live this way? Begin by breaking down your bigger goals into clear, manageable steps. Focus on what you can do today, even if it's just one small step. Remember, it's not about how big the action is, but how consistently and mindfully you take it. Once you live this way, you become more present, more engaged, and often more effective. You learn to fall in love with the journey, its ups, its setbacks, its surprises, and find meaning in the daily effort itself. This mindset also builds humility and inner strength. You realize that while you may not be all-powerful, you are impactful. You can't control everything, but you can always control your attitude, your adaptability, and your persistence. In a world that often defines success through wealth, fame, or follower counts, it's so easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But what if we paused and redefined success for ourselves? The Stoics remind us, true success isn't about what you have, it's about who you become. It's not about status, it's about character. It's not about admiration from others, but about living in alignment with your highest self. And that idea is deeply empowering, because while you can't dictate the economy, the job market, or public opinion, you can always choose your values, your actions, and your response. So how do you begin redefining success? Start with introspection. Reflect on what you truly value and the kind of person you aspire to be. Think about the virtues you admire in others and work toward cultivating them in yourself. Then set goals rooted in those values, with your focus placed on inner growth and meaningful contribution rather than external rewards. Redefining success also means learning to celebrate the process, not just the outcome. Acknowledge your efforts, your resilience, and your progress, even if they haven't led to visible results yet. Because in Stoicism, success is measured not just by reaching your goals, but by how you face adversity, how you stay true to your principles, and how you persevere when no one's watching. And once you've made that shift, something beautiful happens. You begin to experience a deeper, more lasting sense of joy. You're no longer driven by validation. Instead, you're free to pursue what genuinely fulfills you, a life of virtue, of service, of deep alignment with your truth. But in a noisy world full of pressure and distraction, how do we stay true to that clarity? Let's explore that in the next section. After redefining success through the lens of character rather than results, another challenge quietly emerges. How do we resist the deep craving to be liked and approved by others? In a society that places so much emphasis on popularity, attention, and validation, it's easy to lose ourselves. We begin to forget what we truly value. We chase approval instead of purpose. But Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this external pull. It reminds us that our worth and our decisions should be rooted in our own principles and virtues, not in fleeting opinions or applause. The Stoics warned us that seeking approval can become a subtle form of slavery. When we live to be liked, we hand over our identity to others. Their approval lifts us, their criticism crushes us. We become trapped, our confidence rising and falling based on what others think. But when we liberate ourselves from this need, we gain something even greater than admiration. We gain inner freedom. We begin to live and act according to our own beliefs and values, doing what we know to be right, even if it's unpopular, even if no one notices. So how do we begin to untangle our actions from the need to be liked? It starts with deep self-awareness. Ask yourself honestly, am I doing this because I believe in it, or because I want to be accepted? It's not always easy to tell. It requires self-honesty and regular reflection. But this clarity is the first step toward living with authenticity. Next, build confidence in your own judgment. The Stoics emphasized that reason and wisdom should guide our actions. When your choices are rooted in calm thinking and aligned with your highest principles, the opinions of others begin to lose their grip. Even when you're misunderstood, you'll stand firm because you know your actions come from truth. And just as important, accept that not everyone will like you, and that's perfectly okay. We are each unique with different perspectives and values. Trying to please everyone would mean constantly reshaping yourself to fit their expectations until you forget who you truly are. By being real, by being yourself, you attract the right people, those who respect you for your sincerity, not for your conformity. And even if you face criticism or rejection, you'll rest easy, knowing you stayed true to yourself. In today's noisy world where we're expected to say yes to everything, there's one skill that's becoming more and more rare and more essential: the ability to say no. Saying no isn't just about avoiding things you dislike. It's about defining what matters, upholding your values, and honoring your limited time and energy. The Stoics believed in living in harmony with nature, including our own human nature with its boundaries and limitations. They knew that time and energy are finite resources and that we must use them wisely. Saying no then becomes an act of discernment, a way to commit to what truly matters rather than reacting to every demand. But let's be honest, saying no is hard. It takes courage, especially if you're used to pleasing others, afraid to miss out, or worried about being judged. Yet the Stoic approach teaches us to make choices based not on fear or pressure, but on reason, purpose, and integrity. When you say no with calm confidence, you're not just declining an invitation, you're affirming your priorities. You're saying, "This is the life I choose and I will live it with intention." So how can you get better at saying no? Start with clarity. Know your values. Know your direction. When you're anchored in what you truly care about, it becomes easier to recognize which requests align with your path and which do not. And remember, saying no doesn't have to be harsh. It can be done with grace and gratitude. You can respectfully decline while honoring the person who asked. Surprisingly, the more you practice saying no with sincerity, the more liberated you'll feel. You free yourself from unnecessary burdens, you protect your focus, and over time you earn more self-respect, and even the respect of others who admire your clarity and courage. Finally, to truly let go of the need to be liked or to control how things turn out, you need to embrace a core Stoic teaching, the difference between what's in your control and what's not. We can control our effort, our mindset, our virtues, but we can't control the outcomes, the actions of others, or the winds of fate. When you fully understand this, you begin to loosen the grip of anxiety, frustration, and disappointment. You stop trying to manage what was never yours to command. But let's make one thing clear. Letting go doesn't mean not caring. It means caring deeply about the right things, the things that are truly yours to shape, and releasing the rest with peace and equanimity. So, how do we live that kind of clarity, that kind of presence in our daily lives? Let's find out in the final part of this journey. After learning to release our need for control, we now arrive at an even deeper realization. It's about investing our energy wisely, pouring our passion into our actions, and letting go of our attachment to the results. Imagine how much lighter your life would feel if you stopped obsessing over every little thing that didn't go your way. Imagine what would change if you no longer got pulled into dramas or distractions that have nothing to do with your core values, your true mission, or your essential self. That's the liberation Stoicism offers, a path to inner peace and steady strength no matter what storms life sends your way. But how do we actually cultivate this art of letting go with grace? It begins with mindfulness, by simply paying attention. Watch how you react. Notice when tension or frustration rises. Then gently ask yourself, is this within my control or outside of it? Like any skill worth mastering, this requires practice. Start small with the minor annoyances of daily life, the delayed text message, the unexpected traffic, the missed opportunity. Gradually, with repetition, you'll build the strength to apply this mindset to the larger challenges, disappointments, loss, rejection. And what you'll likely discover is profound. The less you try to control what's outside of you, the more power you'll find over what's inside of you. Your thoughts, your emotional responses, your ability to choose peace instead of panic. You'll begin to feel a new sense of calm and clarity even when chaos is all around you. Situations that once rattled you will now become opportunities to respond with grounded presence. As you move forward, guided by the wisdom of Stoicism, you'll start to understand your greatest strength lies within. In your ability to choose how you respond, in your focus on what truly matters, in your capacity to let go, not with apathy, but with calm, conscious intention. Remember, the path to lasting peace and fulfillment isn't found in awards or possessions. It's found in the quiet cultivation of virtue, resilience, and inner stability. Thank you for joining me on this journey today, for showing up with curiosity, reflection, and heart. You are an integral part of this Stoic journal. If today's reflections resonated with you, continue the journey. Watch one of the suggested videos on screen. Together, we'll keep growing, stronger, wiser, and more anchored in the values that lead us to a life of deep meaning and unshakable purpose.